Hey, I'm Paul Roberts, Conscious Counseling 101. All right, you're probably watching this because you think you're an atheist. You're not an atheist unless you don't believe in the appropriate way to look at the massive expansiveness of what God is. If you don't know how to do that, you can't be an atheist. All you are is a person that hasn't taken the time to do what is necessary in order to be what you claim to be. If you truly want to be an atheist, you must first find out what God is. Because if you're not going to believe in Him, you got to make sure you're not believing in the right thing. Where'd you figure out what God was? Where'd you come up with your concepts? Where'd you come up with your concepts of what God was? I bet you had some jaded experiences. I bet you some people came along and thought they knew everything and tried to tell you what they knew. Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you that you don't know anything. And I know you don't know anything because I don't know anything. So I'm not going to tell you what to believe. And I'm not going to, some people call it apologize. I'm not going to apologize for what I believe. What I'm going to do is I'm going to help you to see something that you've never seen, and very few people have. And that is that you don't have enough information to even have arrived at what you think you've arrived at. If everybody that was telling you what they thought God was wrong, and you said, oh gosh, they're so off. They're so off. They gotta be off. I don't want to be like them. It sounds like that might be enough, but it's not. Because they were wrong in the first place when they told you what God was. When they limited what God was. When you came to your conclusions of what God was and said it couldn't be anything more than this, and I don't appreciate or see much of what they're saying to me, and I haven't seen the results according to how they say they're going to fall out into my life, so therefore, that's good enough. No, it's not good enough. It's only good enough for you to feel good. And it's not really even a feeling good, actually. All it is that you were jaded, and you simply don't want to feel jaded. You want to feel redeemed. You want to feel enlightened. You're never going to be. Unless you listen to what I'm going to talk to you about in this video. If you want to feel enlightened, you must first realize how little you know. By the time you're done with this video, you're not going to know anything more except that you're going to know how little you know. What I'm going to tell you is that what you've made your mind up that you don't believe in wasn't described accurately in your mind when you decided you didn't believe. You might have thought, oh, this is the combination of all the human knowledge I've come into. I've looked at it pretty close. I've even walked a while in the footsteps of people that are like that. I've been like them. I've been there. I don't care what your experiences are in life. I don't care if things have worked out or if things didn't work out and then give you a reason because it didn't work out. I don't care what your experiences are. It doesn't matter. What matters is the common experience that I find all over the globe is that I haven't found, actually I should say what I don't find all over the globe. I have not found anybody anywhere on this planet that can give a broad enough definition of what God is warranted being given a definition for, so that you can compile what your thoughts and beliefs are on it. So if I can't do it, you can't do it. The difference between you and me is that you fooled yourself. You thought you'd done it. You didn't do it. Right now, I'm your best friend. The reason I'm your best friend is because I'm the only one that's going to tell you the truth. I'm as hardcore believer as you're going to find. And I still don't know. But if I tell you what I don't know, you'll have a hard time following it. You see, if you take away all the boundaries of what people think and what people share that God is and how God works, you take all of it away and you open it up bigger than you've ever seen it open up before. That would be the only thing that we could even come close to of what God even is, for you to believe in or not. Since so few people even operate in that realm, so few people even try to do that, I'm going to guess you haven't done it. I'm going to guess you haven't done it because I've never met anybody that's done it, with the exception of myself. I've spent a lot of time talking with atheists, but when I was talking to them, I was saying to myself, if I could just find a way to show them what I see, they'd get it. I realized that's not even enough. Because I just said to you, I don't even know. But what I do want to say is, if you could find a way to describe what God could be, as descriptive enough and as open enough as it's warranted, you have to believe. If you take away all the qualities and notions of a being, if you take away all the things that people have said through the years that have been wrong, if you took all that away and you didn't have anything to argue with, and you took away the quality that he's a being, well, golly, just that alone is huge. Just that alone is huge. Now you got so little to argue with. Now it's some figment. Now it's not even anything that you can lock down that anybody even talk to you about. It's getting hard to not believe in that now. Or maybe it's getting easier for you to say, well, it's a figment. It's even easier to not believe it. It takes energy to not believe. And of all the not believers that I have spoken with, I've found that it's not that they're just out there somewhere. It's that what they've summarized or had summarized to them hasn't been good enough to meet their heightened criteria. That's good. It means you're trying to be smart. Bottom line is this. None of us should call ourselves believers or non-believers because we're not capable of knowing, just thinking that probably something's more likely than not. So let's talk just for a few seconds about why I believe. Jesus made a statement, and he said, if you love me and keep my commandments, you'll come to know me. I said, okay, all right. I'm going to operate my life. I'm going to operate within my confines of my marriage. I'm going to raise my kids, teaching them practical life lessons that would keep Jesus' teaching. And I'm going to see what happens. I'm never going to know what happens to their mortal soul, nothing like that. But I'm going to see what happens. So I went down the road, and based on what I saw happen, that's why I believe. But a million other things could have caused that to happen. A million other things could have caused that to happen. It might not have been my beliefs. I think my friend accused me of like thinking, well, I'm just seeing it that way because I want to. Like a science experiment. If you don't do it properly, you have anything off and you're fooling yourself and you're leading yourself, then it's not really accurate what you're seeing with that science experiment, is it? If you want to believe that God exists and you do whatever you can to find a way to have God exist, you're basically deluding yourself. Don't get me started on how you're not qualified to talk with me because you haven't read anything. If it's bogus, it wouldn't matter anyway, would it? If what you read was bogus or not real, right? So I'm not going to argue with you based on my merits as a scholar, and I'm not going to put you down based on the fact that you probably are not even aware of what anything says or means. But you might be. But I'm not going to put you down or assume anything. What I am going to do is I'm going to say, I believe because I did what was said that I should do. And I saw the results from it. And even if God didn't exist, those results are real. Let's say God didn't exist. Let's give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's say that God didn't exist. It's possible that just learning a good morality, a life code, it's possible that we could find out what we're doing that is fooling ourselves. If you haven't earned the right to be what you think you are, based on what it is I've been talking to you about here today, then stop calling yourself that. Stop labeling it. Do the legwork. Do the life living. Studies, observances of your own life, no one else. Not what they tell you and how wrong they got it. Do yourself a favor and don't fall for that crap. Why not to fall for that crap? Because Jesus says that the road to damnation is like darkness and it's broad and paved the way to destruction. And the road to enlightenment and salvation is narrow and only a few people will find it. But that broad road, he says almost all will be on. So in other words, if you just listen to that one teaching that Jesus says, what's that tell you? That tells you that most of the people, even the ones that claim that they know, even the ones that are in the church and are trying to teach you something, even the ones that are emulating what they think they know about the Bible or about what's good or what's moral or whatever, all those people that you're making your assessment from, if you're not doing what I talked to you about in this video, are most likely all wrong in the first place and on the broad road paved to destruction. So if you're ascertaining anything that you're ascertaining by what they're doing and their standards, and any part of your life that you spent with them to get to where you are, you've already failed yourself because they failed you and you didn't realize they were failing you. Well, now you do. Why? Because I am telling you right now, I don't know, but all I've got is what I've done. Not what others have said, what I've done. So I'm not going to go to learn from anyone else, and I encourage you not to do it either. I encourage you to realize that I don't know, and that's a good thing, and you can be like that too. Because I didn't gain anything from anybody else's observances. I gained it from what I did. You need to bring yourself up to that same level. And then you can call yourself whatever you want, and I'll support you. I'm pretty sure if you bring yourself up to that level, though, you're going to see what I've come to see by doing those things. Share with me. You can share when you start out. You can share down the road. You can share way later in life. I'll be glad to hear you. And like I said, I can't judge you because I don't even know. I'm making this kind of just in case. Just in case. And I'm making this for a sense of world peace. Because if we all realized we didn't know, and we all dropped our jaded qualities, and we all stopped making assessments, and we all just worked within ourselves, we'd all come to a heightened level of understanding and forgiveness and lack of judgment for others. And if we broaden our mind of what God really even is, and it's not limited by all the little pockets that everybody puts it into so that it'll serve whatever their earthly cause is, there's a lot bigger chance that what we'll be saying no to or yes to is so huge we can't hardly even fathom what we're saying yes or no to. And then just drop the labels. Spend your life being inquisitive, spiritual in nature, looking, feeling, hoping, trying to see, trying to do better. And if you do that, even if God didn't turn out to ever exist, you would have done something better. How many people are telling you that? They're probably telling you what you can't do. They're probably boxing in what God is, probably oozing with humanism, probably asking for money, probably making you all kinds of promises. Would you even want to serve a God that had people working for him that said things like that? I wouldn't want to. But I know and I feel for you because I've seen them and I do see them. I relearned everything I ever thought I'd learned. I threw it out and I relearned it based on what I described. To come to know, studying what I'm doing, not what's going on outside, to come to see the value. Even when I get to the end, not saying, oh, then therefore it is, and deluding myself, but saying, therefore it's possible. Therefore it's maybe even likely. But it took an effort, not a reaction. I hope these things have helped in some way. But in the meantime, just stop calling yourself an atheist. Keep an open mind.